Welcome back to season 1 of Snubs and Dubs, where we're talking the snubs and dubs of the 69th Academy Awards for Best Picture. I'm your host, Kyle Tobiasson, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Jason Miller. Jason, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, and I'm doing that thing I do.
Really?
Are you doing that thing you do?
I was thinking about that thing that I do, but then I kind of got doing that thing that you do.
You got doing my thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I am going to do your thing so much harder in return then.
Did you watch anything in the last week?
I've watched a little bit.
Yeah?
A couple things. I watched Encanto.
Yeah.
Encanto. I watched that last night. It's really cute.
It was
really
cute.
wholesome. It was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Really pretty. I really enjoyed
yeah.
the animation style and all the colors that went into it. The songs were great.
Mm-hmm.
The story was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice seeing that in a world of people with superpowers, you cannot have superpowers and not be a dick about it, like Syndrome from The Incredibles. I think he needs to watch that to get an example of just suck it up, normal guy. But it was super cool. I liked it.
It was cool. Yeah,
you watched that one, right?
I have, and I've been really close to watching it again.
Yeah.
Because I found that the songs have just been sneaking their way back into my like online experience, mostly through like TikTok and even through like Reddit and YouTube a little bit. YouTube keeps suggesting me the songs, and then people are, because it's now on Disney Plus, which is probably where you watched it.
That's exactly where I watched it.
Like it's kind of blown up a little bit more because people have more access to it now. And so like, I think I've heard through like TikTok or through like actively going out to find We Don't Talk About Bruno. I've listened to that song so many times.
That's
dude.
a banger. What's your favorite song from the movie?
I think it's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my second favorite.
What's your favorite?
Something about Louisa's song I really liked. It was really like just kind of poppy, had a good hook to it, good swing.
Yeah.
But We Don't Talk About Bruno is hot.
Yeah. And I was actually kind of wrong when we were talking about originally. You asked me if there was like a Let It Go type song that would be like top in the charts. And actually, We Don't Talk About Bruno is doing pretty well on charts right now.
I think we are talking about Bruno quite a bit. A lot of steam.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I also watched The Candidate, just like a Will Ferrell running for congressman movie.
Cool.
It's a Will Ferrell runs for congressman movie. There was some laughs. It's a movie. It's kind of like of the Anchorman era, but like not, it doesn't hit the heights. But it was still like, I was watching with a pal. We laughed a lot.
That's
Baby
good,
gets punched. Dog gets punched. It was actually pretty funny. Yeah, so that was fine, really.
Yeah.
But Encanto is the kind of captured my imagination a bit more than The Candidate. How about you, dude? What did you watch?
I'm just thinking about Incandidate.
Everyone's magic except for Will Ferrell. I don't know.
And he's still running for whatever.
And he's still running for Congress and
good for him.
Being a bad person.
Yeah, I actually got busy watching stuff this week. I started off right after you left last episode and I watched The Power of the Dog on Netflix, which is a 2021 like kind of awards hopey movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Kirsten Dunst.
Oh,
and it was very good. It's a slow burn type of movie, very slow, but like acting is really good. Cinematography is fucking beautiful, just unreal. And also it ends in a way that like really warrants a rewatch because it's one of those where like the events of the movie kind of shape how you could watch it again a second time.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, I've been kind of teasing watching it again because it's like, but it is like just over 2 hours, I think. But yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch really good in that. I think he could give Will Smith a little run for his money at the Oscars this year. We'll see.
That's good to hear. Some competition coming up and stiff ones.
Yeah. I also watched The Mitchells versus the Machines.
I've not heard of that.
It was an animated movie. It keeps saying that it's by the same people that did like Spider-Verse and the Lego movie. Oh God, what are their names?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, yeah. Those people anyways. But it's like, it's by a different director. I think it's a production company. And it's like an animated movie about this family that's going on a road trip to take their daughter to college. And then all of a sudden a tech company accidentally creates an artificial intelligence that turns into a robot uprising sort of thing.
Interesting.
And their plan is to like capture all the humans and send them into the black abyss of space to no particular destination.
Well, we're probably heading there.
Yeah.
How did that turn out for them? Just as a little preview of us in about 15 years.
Yeah. But no, it was good. And I don't know if it was like, because I saw it was really well reviewed.
Mhm.
And I think that it's almost at the levels of like some of those like Spider-Verse and Lego Movie in terms of their humor. But more jokes fell flat for me than in those type of movies. And it was very forced, like meme humor and internet humor.
Like it's just hoping that every joke catches on and gets memed to shit so everyone sees every still from that movie.
Yeah. And like it was beautifully animated. And like, I mean, with Encanto too, like the animation is getting so photorealistic that like, where do you even go from there and other than to like make real people? And like, so with this, like you got this very stylized, very cartoonish type characters that are using like internet meme type cuts and stuff. And like, it was interesting, but I don't know if I would really like recommend it so much. It's like fun to watch if you want to put it on, but like, I don't know. It's not vibe with me as much as I thought it might vibe with me.
That's fair. Like something good for the background. Throw that on while you're doing something else.
Yeah. Pretty to look at, but like, I just didn't catch with me that much. Other than that, I watched 4 other 96 movies.
Ooh, you were on a tear. You're really cleaning up at the end of this season.
Yeah, I watched pretty much everything that I could watch without having to pay for it.
Yeah.
I did have to buy like the Stars upgrade for Crave, which was kind of annoying, but I was able to get 2 out of that. But I watched The Cable Guy, The Crucible, Mars Attacks, and Crash.
Oh, yeah.
Cable Guy was okay. I think it was like, it shouldn't have been a comedy. Yeah. Which like Jim Carrey, like was obviously doing his big 90s Jim Carrey thing. But like there was an actual legitimately cool Fatal Attraction type thriller in there where a friend basically kind of manipulates somebody and like blackmails them into being their friend. Yeah. And like it was really interesting, but then like they forced so much humor into it and Jim Carrey was being his like Jim Carrey self. Yeah. Which works in some cases, but like I found that it didn't work here because I wanted it to be that more interesting thriller. But yeah, it was all right.
You know, they got carried away.
Yeah. Crucible was good. It was The Crucible.
I think I like watched that in English class.
Yeah, probably.
I watched that in school, 99% sure.
Yeah, it is a very English class type movie.
Oh, yeah.
But like, it's not even like Daniel Day-Lewis didn't blow me away, which is strange because that's
all he does.
Yeah, he has good scenes. I actually think the direction might have been working against him because like it was very plain. Yeah. It was a very plain, basic type movie. Like the energy just was kind of like almost bland.
It's a textbook movie. Yeah. Not that it's like the definition of a movie, but like it's the textbook equivalent of movies where it's just kind of boring.
Yeah, exactly. But Winona Ryder is quite good. She was young then too. Yeah.
But Winona Ryder is always good.
Yeah.
That's when Daniel Day-Lewis lets you down. You know who won't? Winona Ryder.
Yeah. And then Mars Attacks I watched last night and it was good. Kind of wacky, kind of zany. Ooh. Also, like, it was a Tim Burton film.
Okay.
And it's weird having that movie be in the same year as Independence Day because it's basically the same thing wherein like aliens show up and they're trying to respond to it. But in this, like, they're constantly delaying aggressive force. Oh. And like, even when the aliens are showing like active signs of like trying to kill humans, even just like for fun.
Yeah.
And so like, it's kind of funny in that way, but also not realistic.
We
anymore.
Do not have that kind of patience. Yeah.
But like the cast was unreal. Like Jack Nicholson, Annette Bening, Glenn Close. Fucking like Natalie Portman. Like it was just unreal with this cast. Jack Black was in there for like 5 seconds.
Why not?
Yeah, it was weird, but it was kind of fun. I was. If you get around to it, you get around to it.
1996, we were very scared of aliens that year. We did not have any good optimism for what that would entail.
Yeah, and like the opening shot is just like a herd of cows on fire. It actually opens with a slight bit of racism because like this white guy comes over to this farmer who is a Filipino farmer and he was like, what is it, Filipino New Year's? And he was like, "What? Why?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I smelt the barbecue down from all the way down the street." And then he just kind of keeps like going on, and it's a little bit rough to start. But and then like this herd of cows like that are just on fire from the aliens just run down, and I guess that was what he was smelling. It's just
1996, a little rough around the edges.
Yeah. And the last one I watched was also last night, and it was Crash, was from David Cronenberg's.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was in Toronto. It was seeing all these Ontario license plates, which was kind of cool. And it was also like funded by like Telefilm Canada and like other government sources, which was kind of neat.
Interesting.
But it is the horniest movie I've ever seen in my life.
If my tax dollars are going to film the arts, I want it to be horny. Thank you for completing your mission.
It's like about James Spader and this other group of people that essentially start like fetishizing car crashes.
Oh,
because like James Spader gets in a car crash and like with like Helen Hunt's character, and like when she's undoing her seatbelt, he like sees her boob, and he's like, "Oh shit, like that's what's up." But they kind of get off on like their injuries and like the act and like the thrill of doing it, and also like it really gets to the point where James Spader's character can't get off without like that thrill.
Oh wow,
yeah, and like it's very open sexually.
Yeah.
Like there's men with women, there's women with women, there's men with men. It's just like everything.
Good for them.
There's like people with cars. Like the opening shot is like a woman putting her nipple on a car.
Talk about autoerotic.
Yeah, but like it ends so strangely, but like kind of in a profound way. But I don't think it was as profound as it like wanted to be. It was mostly just horny and like,
I'm
sex.
getting a lot of. I am now very curious in. This premise, first of all, is bizarre, but if this can come around to any kind of point, that's incredible.
I don't think it ever got to a point. Like it never really wrapped up. Like people kind of had things happen to them, and like
I'm assuming car crashes mostly.
Yeah, there was car crashes, and like it never really wrapped up in a way that I thought was like satisfying, but I didn't hate it. It was just very interesting to watch.
Yeah. That sounds interesting and bizarre.
But yeah, that was it. But I caught up, I think, from last week where I watched nothing.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's wicked. Quick editor's note. The movie I watched with Will Ferrell is The Campaign, not The Candidate, which goes to show you how memorable it was, other than a couple laughs. But yeah, no, you have watched the most 1996 films of anyone. You did it. You have the title.
There's still more that I want to get through, but now they're like, I have to pay for a rental, which is kind of annoying, but I'll probably get through a few because we're wrapping up.
We're getting close.
We are in officially episode 24 out of 26. Woo! That's crazy.
That's one left after this, if I believe.
Of course, season 1 of Snubs and Dubs is covering the films from the year 1996. And so for our last episode of the season on a film that's not nominated for Best Picture, episode 24, we're talking about That Thing You Do. Jason, have you heard of it or seen it before?
No, I didn't know anything about this movie before. Yeah. Did you?
Did you know the song?
No, I didn't even know the song before.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I had known of the song. And so I thought the movie was about the song because I hadn't seen it or I hadn't heard of anything about it before. But I guess the song came from this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of production was there was a contest to write the song.
Oh, wow.
And this was we have some fun facts later that briefly touch on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like kind of, there's a contest to have like the song be the song. And That Thing You Do is that thing that won.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Good for them.
Yeah.
If you were interested in That Thing You Do, or was it based on a book? No. I thought it might be. I thought it might be based on a true story.
No. Yeah. They kind of like mock it up, especially with the ending when they have like this person went on to do that. No, this is all just Tom Hanks'
entirely
deep
fictional.
cut imagination.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you're interested in That Thing You Do, I've included the links to the physical media related to it in the show notes. If you buy through that link, it'll help out our show. Or if you have any other Amazon shopping to do, follow the general link to help out our show in the process. Reminder that this is going to be a spoiler-filled conversation, so if you haven't seen That Thing You Do and you want to, go ahead and do so. It's on Disney+. But without further ado, we're going to get into it.
Wily band manager Mr. White helps a small town band achieve big time success when they release a Beatles-style pop song in 1964. Pennsylvania band The Oneders become a sensation after their drummer breaks his arm and is replaced by jazz enthusiast Guy Patterson, who injects something a bit different into their music. There was no good log line. Like, that's not really the order things happen in. And I went through like a bunch of websites to find a good one and I couldn't. And then I thought to myself, well, I could just do one myself.
But that's too much effort.
And then I copy pasted Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, so. that's my go-to is the Rotten Tomatoes one.
Normally better than that.
Yeah.
All right, this is another big Tommy Wiseau moment. This is directed by Tom Hanks, written by Tom Hanks, starring Tom Everett Scott as Guy Skitch Shades Patterson. That is 2 nicknames. Wow. That is in his name, 2 nicknames. The nickname to name ratio is 1-to-1. Liv Tyler as Faye Dolan, Jonathan Skaich as Jimmy Mattingly, Steve Zane as Lenny Hayes, Ethan Embry as TB Player, and Tom Hanks as Mr. White. It has a runtime of 108 minutes and was released on October 4th, 1996. Kyle Tobiasson, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was fun. It was fine. It was very safe.
It was very safe.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, good.
But this is my wildest dream, is moderate success in the music industry based off one good song and then crashing and burning afterwards. This is what I go to sleep dreaming of every night. And I didn't know that Tom Hanks already put all of it into a movie for me with a really catchy song that I love.
Yeah.
So this was exactly what I wanted and didn't know it. So I loved it.
That thing that you wanted.
It was that thing that thank you, Tom Hanks, for doing and doing literally on your own. You did everything. Yeah. This was the Tom Hanks show. He really went
for it. Yeah. Which like it's his directorial debut as well, which is I think it kind of shows in some places.
Yes.
I can get a little bit nitpicky with this movie.
Yeah.
But overall, like it is enjoyable. I think that it is, like I said, very safe, but I don't think that's anything against the movie.
No.
It is a very comfortable movie, and I understand why it was so well reviewed.
Yeah.
And like this was actually a late, which is why it's so late in the year, but a late addition to the season. And I think I only added it afterwards when I figured out it was a music movie because I was like, oh yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
You and I would both like that.
Exactly.
And sure enough, you did. And I also enjoyed it too. You know what was funny? You said TB Player.
Yeah.
Do you know what that stands for?
The bass.
Yeah, the bass player.
Doesn't have a name.
Doesn't have a name.
Oh man, that is such a funny thing to have in there. When I was putting down the cast, I'm like, TB Player.
Yeah.
What? I'm like, that can't be the bass. And then I look it up.
And surely his name is the bass.
The bass. Oh, that's really funny.
Well, do you want to get into the plot?
Yeah, if you can find a plot in there, let me know what it is.
Yeah, sure. I think I got actually quite a few pages of this, but it is quite trimmed down. We open in Erie, Pennsylvania, where Guy Patterson works at his family appliance shop. We also see that he is a drummer that loves jazz.
Loves that jazz.
Yeah. At a diner, Jimmy, Lenny, TB, Chad, and Faye, Jimmy's boyfriend, debate the name of their band. Lenny invites Guy to watch them play at a talent show later, but he declines. Outside, their drummer, Chad, tries to jump over a parking meter, but guys, Chad fell down.
It was so sad. The guy who fell, why can't he say something? Is his voice broken too, or did he just fall in his arm?
Yeah, he was just like, oh, like
guys, I'm a bass player. We don't get to speak our names.
Yeah, but the drummer breaks his arm. And so Lenny and Jimmy go to Guy's work and ask him to play their song while Chad is out. Guy agrees. Guy quickly picks up their sleepy ballad, That Thing You Do, and Faye figures that they should call their band The Oneders, but the one, like the number, Oneders, not the Wonders like you would expect, which becomes a thing.
In my opinion, that's a killer name.
Really?
I like it. Maybe it's just so... works so much better when you already know what you're going for. Yeah. And when you kind of work back from The Wonders to see it.
Yeah.
I think it's like, that's kind of cool.
I think it needed a dash though, because like Lenny identifies that it looks like the Oneders.
Yeah.
And it does.
And if I was in this meeting where he said like, oh, it looks like the Oneders, I would have slapped him. I would have been, shut up. It's great. It's a cool name. Get some class.
Yeah.
But he does get vindicated time and time again.
Very often. Yeah.
Over and over.
At the talent show, Guy chats briefly with his girlfriend, Tina, played by Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
She gets like 4 scenes?
Yeah.
Maybe?
It's fun seeing like these huge actors now in these like small roles in older movies. Like Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Fucking huge.
So I don't think I put this in the fun facts later because it's not that big of one. She was the first to audition and the first cast in this movie for like for nothing. She doesn't do anything. She's hardly even needed in the scene. If he just doesn't have a girlfriend at the start, nothing changes.
No, it's just like, I think it's just like barriers to his relationship with Faye.
I guess so, yeah.
But then like Faye is with Jimmy.
That's a bigger one.
Yeah. So like, what the fuck?
What also, I'm going to just
Go
quickly.
for it.
He says that he doesn't play in bands anymore and kind of references having been in a band before, and then that never gets explored. But I'm so curious why he didn't initially want to play with the band and what had happened that made him not want to play in bands. Because that was like, they kind of dangle that in front of you and then like never swing back around.
Yeah. Tangle it and take it away. But
yeah.
Maybe it was his love for jazz and he thinks that people don't want to play jazz.
Oh, that could easily be it.
Yeah.
No one likes jazz. only drummers like jazz.
Yeah. So Charlize Theron, who is very uninterested in whatever is going on, and also throughout the entire movie, unless it's her dentist.
Yeah.
Faye pulls Guy away to get ready with the band, and then they go on and are introduced as the Oneders. As a result of his nerves, Guy plays way faster than intended. We've all been there.
Who hasn't ripped through a song because you don't know what tempo is anymore?
Yeah. However, in this case, it makes the song a banger.
Yeah.
Not that Tina would think so, though.
Also, I don't think it was necessarily just because of his nerves, because when they first play it, he's doing like a soft thing on the hi-hat and like some rim clicks. And on this one, when he starts, he just starts going for the snare. So I think he kind of meant to do this.
Yeah. Because like he does have another flub later for his nerves.
Yeah.
But he just kind of goes off tempo and like just things go wrong. This is the only time he ever went faster. This never became a thing otherwise.
Yeah.
So.
I think he in the moment was like, nah, we need a rocker, especially because the last stuff that was going was like a Spanish band, I believe.
Yeah.
And people were getting vibing with it. You can't bring the mood down from that. You got to build.
Which, I mean, good call. Great call.
Yeah.
Because that song like instantly changed.
Oh, yeah. I think it paid off.
Yeah. Especially, it's nice that they showed you the song before, because otherwise this like wouldn't have had the same effect. And even they didn't even to show you that much of the song, just to show you like what it was intended to be and then how it ended up being. But yeah, the Oneders win the talent competition and get an invitation to play a gig at a restaurant. They start with their sleepy show at the restaurant, but once they crank out that thing they do, the place starts pumping.
That's a spicy meatballa.
The band brings extra attention to the restaurant and the owner wants them back. Over dinner, Guy gets the idea to leverage his uncle Bob, who records church music, to record that thing you do. They record it in one take and get their record in a few days. Faye starts to sell it at a restaurant and happens to sell one to Phil Horace. Phil meets Guy at his work the next day and offers to be the band's manager, promising to get them on the radio by the end of the week.
I just feel like living in a motorhome maybe doesn't inspire confidence with his management to me. But
yeah, that was another, like, it almost set up that they were maybe going to get played.
Yeah.
And then they didn't.
And then it just worked out really well.
Yeah.
I thought like they were really close to building up a good skeevy manager thing where maybe like it doesn't work out well and they're mad at him and the contract's not great or something like that.
Yeah.
But it kind of just smoothly transitioned them to the next step, which is, I don't think, particularly realistic.
Yeah, and that's why I say that this movie's pretty safe.
Yeah.
Is because the conflict is very minimal very brief.
Oh, it starts and ends in like a tight 5.
Yeah, it's like in the third act. Like that's it. That's where the conflict is. So the band agrees to have Phil as their manager, and sure enough, that thing you do ends up on the radio to the band's glee. This was actually a fun scene.
This was a really cool scene. I think it captured the excitement really well, where they're freaking out and having a great time.
Yeah.
You actually like kind of get caught up in it too, and you're really excited for them for making it to the radio.
Because like 100%, that would be how you would feel if like the radio was playing and like you were on there. You would be going around and cranking up every radio that you could to try and have everyone hear it.
Especially working in an appliance store, that's turning into like the entire block shattering windows from the sound.
While the band gets busy listening to themselves on the radio, Tina gets busy with her dentist.
Talk about getting a filling.
Nice. Guy starts saying, "I am Spartacus," which honestly I would hang up on too.
That should be the end of any talking to him. That's the worst thing.
It's so weird. I don't know why he says it. Like, I think this was another area where I thought they were going to set up like Guy maybe getting too big for his boots.
Yeah.
And like getting too overconfident, and that would create more conflict. But like, I mean, it works out for him in the end because in the last bit, he plays a song that he calls I Am Spartacus.
Yeah.
And that's like his, like, I don't know, what breaks him out, I guess.
Because they kind of plant the seeds for that, but it's not like any kind of incredible payoff and doesn't make a whole lot of sense on the way up there. So it's not really needed.
And it's just like a weird thing.
It's just a weird thing to say. He already has 4 nicknames. Stop giving him more.
The Wonders play a show in Pittsburgh and absolutely shit the bed. Despite being awful, Phil introduces Guy to Mr. White, played by Tom Hanks, who is with Playtone Records. Phil gives up his job pretty valiantly to Mr. White, who takes over as the Wonders manager.
That's another thing. Like the initial manager makes no sense.
Yeah.
Who has a band that is printing money for them?
Yeah.
Or like successful enough to move on to the next level and just hands them over?
Yeah.
Like that's not you're gonna want to see out that contract and then the band's gonna want to move on.
Right.
The manager's not gonna be like, well, I'm making a lot of money off these guys with a lot of success.
Yeah.
Time to give them up. I know my place in the world. Like, wouldn't you want to move up as a manager by staking with them?
Yeah. Like leave your motorhome, maybe?
Yeah. Are you really that happy in a motorhome?
Maybe that's why you're in a motorhome, because every time a band gets mildly successful, you pass them off to a more successful manager to do your job.
Maybe this guy just really knows his lane.
Yeah.
Like I take a band from 0 to 10 and then we hand him off for someone else to take him all the way to 60.
See, and it would have been more interesting if he was sleazy. If he identified that, like, I mean, the ultimate thing at the end of this movie, spoilers, is that like they're a one-hit wonder.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was set up in every way.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were starting as the Wonders with the number 1, and then the Wonders in itself being the Wonders, one-hit wonders. But like, I thought that maybe it would have been more interesting if Phil was slimy in that he got his, like, what he wanted out of them in their one hit, and then just passed them off because he didn't think that they were going to do anything else.
Yeah.
But there was no evidence to support that, and nothing else in this narrative that kind of added that conflict. And he just like boosted them up, got them on the radio, got them attention, and then passed them off.
Yeah. And this movie needed that conflict. So I'm really shocked that he didn't put that in, because it seems like such an easy place to get that in there.
Yeah.
And it's needed in that place, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, because it would have been interesting if Tom Hanks later found them, like, or heard them on the radio, and we're like, oh, who are these guys? Are they being represented? And then like he goes and finds that Phil is representing them, and he knows about Phil. You know, he knows that Phil's a little bit of a sleazebag, and so he tries to get them to whatever. But then Phil got them on the radio, you know, so they're kind of attached, and that would have been interesting.
Or there was some like conflict as to whether like who to go with, because it could be. I imagine, I don't know. But for bands who are just breaking out, like if you sign a long contract with the wrong person, you could be hooped. Yeah. So that should be a really weighty decision of who's going to actually represent you.
Yep.
Or it works out perfectly and they get and they blow up.
Moving on. Mr. White changes their name to simply The Wonders as they release the record nationwide. The bass player reveals that he enlisted in the Marines and has to leave in August. He'll stay with the band until then, though. Mr. White also appoints Faye as the band's costume mistress so she could come on tour with Jimmy and the rest, and gives Guy a pair of shades to use as his like brand, his identifier.
Yeah. To become Shades.
Guy tells his dad that he's going on tour, and his dad gets pissy. I love the line here. Darlene, you just got promoted. You mean you're going to start paying me? I didn't say that.
That was really good. I also love here how when Guy becomes a drummer, the drummer just becomes the new guy and gets adopted into the family. They just like Freaky Friday that, where now he's their son and Guy's the drummer, and no one has any complaints about that.
I thought that was going to be more elements of conflict too, because he was the original member of the band. He was there when they were writing the original song, and then Guy joins, and all of a sudden it becomes a success. I thought he was going to come back and be like, well, you know, this was my thing too. Like, I want a piece of this, whatever. Or like that his dad was going to be more involved, and like, you know, he had to work, otherwise he couldn't afford to, you know, run the store or some stupid shit or whatever. But no,
I really wanted to see petty drum fights. I wanted them to bicker over who should be the drummer. Guy is obviously more talented, but the other guy, he was there first. Yeah. Even though he's worse. And they said it took him like a week to learn the slow version of that, which is not good. You can learn to play the drums faster in a week, let alone that one song.
Yeah, but that was that. I think that was kind of the last element that I thought needed more conflict. Yeah, was like his the side of the drummer and his family. But Nah.
Yeah, whatever.
Easy movie.
Yeah.
The Wonders start their Playtone tour and mingle with the other artists. Mr. White tells the band that if they play well, they will play on the second largest disc jockeys show in Columbus. They do play well and get on the radio show and end up on the Billboard Top 100 starting at 93.
Ooh, hot.
Yeah. The tour continues and they continue to climb the charts all the way to number 7, becoming the fastest rising record in the history of Playtone Records. Jimmy starts to mingle with one of the female Playtone artists to Faye's dismay. They move on from the state fairs and leave the venue to head to the airport to go to California. Faye almost gets left behind, but Guy grabs her. Those 3 points was a very larger point than maybe I included, but
it's kind of introduced that way too, where it's kind of quick, even though like there's weight to it, and you're gonna come back to that later. Yeah, it's pretty beat on beat.
Yeah, because I don't even remember her name. I think it was like Diane or something.
Diane Dane. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
but good guy.
Faye then gets a cold on the plane, and Guy cares for her before heading back to a meeting with the band. Mr. White at this meeting tells them that they're going to make an appearance in a movie and then on Hollywood Television Showcase. Jimmy wants to cut another record as soon as possible, but Mr. White insists that this is the best course of action. The band and Faye arrive at the hotel, and we meet Lamar, the owner of the hotel. Then we cut to the band on the beach pretending to play a song in a movie. Jimmy is annoyed, thinking they're hot shit because they have a top 10 record. So this is where you kind of get a little bit of conflict, because Jimmy's the one that thinks he's hot shit. He's the one who should be saying I am Spartacus, because he's got the ego. But
which that would have even been a funnier callback is if Guy's song is called I Am Spartacus after like Jimmy said that first before tearing the band apart. That would be kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. It would. And I thought there was going to be more because Lenny is also a really good singer, and there's like another song that they play during one of these tours that's actually really good, and I wish they played that one more than, because they played That Thing You Do so many times. And I thought that maybe Jimmy might have gotten more jealous of like Lenny getting attention, because like he can also sing quite well and be kind of a front man, and like he wants to do that. He's like he really sells it, but he's
got the personality for it too.
Their tour continues with radio appearances and a meeting with Sully, the owner of the Playtone label. Jimmy annoys Sully by trying to make an introduction and telling him that he wants to make more records. Jimmy gets further annoyed, heeding advice given to him by Diane Dane while on the Playtone tour to never trust a label. I like Lenny's line here as Jimmy walks away. There he goes off to his room to write that hit song, Alone in My Principles.
That was really funny.
The bass player tries to head out with Guy, but links up with some Marines. He decides to stay with them, and that's pretty much the last time we see the bass player.
Yeah, pretty much. We get one flashback to having a great time in Disney World or Disneyland.
Yeah, Disneyland. Yeah.
And that's it for TB player.
Yeah. Lamar sends Guy to a good jazz club where he gets hit on by a waitress, which is played by Tom Hanks' real wife.
Oh, that's funny.
Rita Wilson. Yeah. That's they were really married and still are really married.
They still are. That's so sweet.
Yeah. So he gets hit on by the waitress before meeting a jazz hero of his, Del Paxton. Guy and Del chat for a long time, and Del advises Guy that bands come and go and he needs to keep playing no matter who with.
It's funny. A little foreshadowing. Yeah.
It's funny. Even in this conversation, Guy forgets the bass player and instead includes Faye in the band with Lenny and Jimmy.
They wanted to go really far to never giving the bass player a name. Yeah. Which is what they deserve. I do want to say the character of Lamar, hilarious. Yeah. I love Lamar. He's really well played. And he just he doesn't have much screen time, but he's probably one of the most memorable characters from it.
Yeah, because he commands the screen time that he's in.
Absolutely.
Like he takes your screen and he's just like, hey, it's me.
Hey, young squires.
Yeah.
It's Lamar.
Because he's really, really funny, and he's like also really nice.
Yeah.
Just like to all these guys. Wow, man. We all need a guy like Lamar in our life.
I wish.
Next morning, Guy sleeps in and is nearly late for his TV debut. When he gets there, Jimmy is ill after catching Faye's flu. The bass player doesn't show, but Mr. White already has his replacement ready in the Wolfman.
Oh. That's such a stupid name, the Wolfman. I would have said no on principle alone. That's the one time I would agree with Jimmy and his principles. You can't have a guy who joins your band starting off as the Wolfman to play bass.
I mean, at least he's got a name, even if it is
true.
the Wolfman. Faye gets all dazzled up for the show and gets led up the stairs by Tom Hanks' real son, Colin Hanks.
Yeah.
Was that one of your fun facts? Sorry if I stole that.
In a way, but not fully.
Not all
so that's
the way?
okay.
Yeah.
No, you can keep going.
Because
Don't
Colin
worry.
Hanks is a real actor now.
He is actually an actor.
Yeah. I mean, not that he wasn't in this movie, but like he
was just
is a more
pretending in this
popular
movie.
actor now. Yeah.
He was pretending to be an actor, but now he's really an actor.
Guy's family and Chad, who seems to just have replaced Guy in his own family, watched the TV show on in excitement. And like, yeah, I already mentioned this, but I did write, why is Chad not bitter? Was he like dating Guy's sister now? Like maybe because he's like literally with the family. He's like settled in.
I have no idea. He just seems to be happy to have a family.
Yeah.
Did he not have one before? Was he just on his own? And the whole time that these guys were having a cross-country journey to discover music and live this life of success, he just finally has a family? I don't know.
Maybe there's a that thing you do like in between Quill sort of B story where they focus on Chad instead of the band as the
Maybe.
guy who gets left behind, and his band that he was once with before an injury set him back was like automatically just took off for some reason. Then he had to like, maybe his family rejected him because now he's not in a band anymore. And that's why he has his found family and his new job. That's why he had to get a job in the first place because he was kicked out on the street.
Oh my God. This is a good story.
I know.
There is an extended cut that's 40 minutes longer than this movie.
Okay.
Maybe they explain something in there.
Yeah, because we didn't watch that one, which
Yeah,
is fair
no.
because this would have been the version that, you know, if the Academy was watching it,
Yeah.
they would have been watching this version. But like, I'm very curious to see.
Also, when I watched this movie, at the end, I did not think to myself, oh, this needed 40 more minutes.
Neither. We also get a random Bryan Cranston cameo.
Yeah.
It's just as like a NASA astronaut appearing on the show before the Wonders go on and play. Cool to
Just
see.
to be there, yeah.
Guy says his dumb Spartacus line to Lenny, who reacts pretty much as anyone else would. Just like, what the fuck?
If this band doesn't break up, I'm quitting for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't let a drummer get an ego. Unbelievable.
Oh, fuck. While they play, the TV shows a shot of Jimmy with text under his name saying, "Careful, ladies, he's engaged." This pisses off Jimmy, not because he got a cold from Faye, but because, you know, they were apparently not engaged.
Not engaged? Yeah. Also, I really thought him having the flu was going to mean something to the performance.
too.
I spent the entire time being like, is he going to puke on TV?
Yeah.
Is he going to puke on TV?
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't puke on TV.
Yep.
And then he just doesn't.
And see, that would have been more interesting too.
That would have been, yeah.
There's so many times where this movie just chooses to be safe
Yeah.
instead of having more conflict, because if he had like really not done well, and then maybe Lenny picked up some of the slack and the singing because Jimmy was not doing very well, and then they also show that "Careful, girls, he's engaged" on the screen, and then Jimmy just snaps because not only did Faye make him sick and possibly ruin his like only TV experience, like show, but like he also, I guess, was made unavailable just on TV.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that would have been more interesting. That would have been a fun dynamic. Having that kind of battle for frontman.
Oh man. There's a better movie.
There's
here.
a better movie in here.
Yeah. Anyways, Jimmy and Faye break up, which is, you know, fine. Faye's just like, "I never want to see you again." Cool. Whatever.
I thought she actually had a pretty good breakup speech.
Yeah.
She sold that really well.
Yeah. Also, Liv Tyler.
Oh.
Is that her name?
Yes.
Liv Tyler. Fuck.
Oh.
What a babe.
Yeah, no kidding. This movie had, as I said before, everything I wanted, and that includes Liv Tyler.
Yeah. At a recording studio where they're finally going to cut their new record, Lenny doesn't show up, and Jimmy quits on the spot after Mr. White says that he needs to cover some songs from the Playtone catalog as part of his contract. This leaves Guy alone until Del Paxton shows up and they start to jam together. Guy goes back to his hotel, finds Faye before she leaves, and tells her that he's going to stay in LA and be a drummer hanging out with Del, I guess. He then asks her when the last time she got a real good smooch was. Truly, truly good and kissed. Very strange way to say this.
That's not the hottest pickup line.
Yeah.
I guess it does relate back to her breakup speech with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Not in a cool way, though.
Guy gives her a kiss and they head back into the hotel to, I guess kiss more? I don't know.
Yeah, that's all it was. Just a couple above the clothes kisses from a foot away. They have to really lean in.
Yeah.
And then 25 seconds later, they respectfully come back downstairs and leave.
Lamar then basically winks to the camera without actually winking. He just stared at the
his
camera.
His personality winks. His pure charisma winked at the camera.
Yeah, and then we cut to black.
Yeah.
The credits reveal that Jimmy became a record producer. Lenny is a divorced hotel and casino manager in Nevada. The bass player earned a Purple Heart in Vietnam, then worked in construction in Orlando, Florida. And Guy and Faye are married with 4 children in Bainbridge Island, Washington, where Guy teaches jazz composition at their own musical conservatory.
Aww.
Wow. So it all worked out.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to Broken Arm Drummer. I hope he's okay. I hope he's doing good.
He remained working at an appliance store until the day that he died.
Officially adopted, and upon his adopted father's deathbed is given the keys to the appliance store where he still works with a broken arm.
Oh my God, his arm just stayed broken forever.
Just stayed broken.
Yikes. But what did you think? Like I think we are kind of talked about how we liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But what were some of the parts that really stood out to you?
I really enjoyed the general vibe of this movie. It's lighthearted. It's fun. It definitely could be a much better movie if it took any kind of risk and had some more like conflict set up in it. I really think the first 2 acts kind of have a lot of fat to cut away from there and make a more compelling movie. But I enjoyed it. It was just a fun, really vibey movie. The song's really good. I'm glad that they went with that song because it's exactly what it needed to be. Like a 60s era, catchy, poppy. They played it like 9 times probably.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I don't know if I needed to hear it a 10th time, but I didn't hate it on the 9th time. So that's a pretty good sign for a song because they play like maybe 10 seconds of a second one, but otherwise it's just that thing you do.
Yeah. And they like almost play the full song like that many times too, because they play it on stage like all the time. Mm-hmm. And I thought when I was going to have to go through a second time to watch the movie to do the plot summary here, thought it was going to start to wane on me a little bit more than it ultimately did.
Yeah.
I think it was getting there.
Yeah.
But like, it's still a good song.
Yeah. I took a couple of days off from it after watching the movie.
Yeah.
But on the drive here, queued that baddie up.
Oh, nice.
Didn't hate it. I was actually quite happy to do that.
Nice. Yeah, I like the vibe of this movie too. I like, again, like it's a safe movie, but I don't think it is wrong in being safe.
No.
It is a very comfortable movie.
Yeah.
And it is very easy to watch because of that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really stress you out until like maybe the end. And like for some people that is going to be a negative because this movie is kind of fluffy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have like maybe the actual conflict and that would come from this sort of situation.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like very easy to watch, very funny, like really good lines in there. And like Tom Hanks really wrote some good lines.
Yeah.
But there were some moments, and this was like part of Tom Hanks maybe being a first time director. In the scene where Faye and Guy are talking at the end, are you familiar with the 180-degree rule?
No.
So essentially in film, if you're shooting 2 people together in a scene, one person usually should be on the left side. And then when you cut to the other person, they'll have them on the right side because then it looks, when it cuts, like they're looking at each other and they're talking to each other. When Faye was talking to Guy, they were both on the right side, looking at the right side, or looking to the left.
That's
and so
kind of funny.
like, and obviously they're sitting next to each other on a bar. And so like, that's kind of fine. But then like, it's, I don't know. That was just like, to me, that was like, it's kind of early director type stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of amateur-y, but like, that's me nitpicking a little bit.
I think like the general vibe of this movie was nothing particularly blew me away. If I'm trying to think of like a cool shot or scene, I did really like the shot of when they're playing as that, what's that band called in the movie? Because it has like that short scene of them filming the movie that they're in.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought that was a cool shot, but that's imitating a movie.
Yeah.
So that's probably why it felt like an actual movie shot to me.
Yeah. Which that was funny. Lenny was really selling playing that saxophone.
He's having a great time on that. And I'm glad when it cuts and he's just like, because I watched it with the closed captioning on, as I like to do. I love closed captioning.
Mm-hmm.
And after the music cuts and he's just kind of fiddling around with it, it just has like the caption, plays sour notes.
Nice.
Because he's just wailing on it with no idea what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and because Lenny was so consistently optimistic and so joyful, I thought there was going to be more conflict between the other band members.
Yeah.
And like there really wasn't. It was just at the end, Jimmy decides that he's better than this.
Yeah.
And that's what ultimately causes the band to break up.
Mm-hmm.
And even at the end, when Jimmy's like, no, I'm not going to play these covers, I quit, he get up and leaves. And like, they don't even try to like work things out, or like Mr. White's like, oh, he's in a breach of contract, and Guy's like, oh shit, like, are we gonna get in trouble? And then he's like, nah, you're fine.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay, like
we'll just tear this up, doesn't really matter.
And I knew when it kind of got to the point where it was looking very clearly like these guys were going to be the one-hit wonders, that Tom Hanks was going to say one-hit wonders. I knew he was going to say it.
It was
he fucking does.
And he drops it. Yeah. What did you think of like the general acting in this? Because I felt like it was fine. And then when Tom Hanks got on the set, I was like, oh, Tom Hanks is a kind of a class above right now. It felt like his character was just so much more like depth and full compared to everyone else. Yeah. That their characters kind of became flatter the more screen time Tom Hanks had. Yep. Yeah, because you really see the comparison of like Tom Hanks, who is like an absolute world-class fucking master actor. And he had won like best actor like a year and a half ago before this, 2 years probably, with Forrest Gump. Yep. Oh, and he won back to back. Oh, yeah. What was 95? Oh, fuck. Nicolas Cage won the year before. So it wasn't 95, but he might have won it 94, 93. Tom Hanks went 93, 94. Yeah. 93 for Andrew Andy Beckett from Philadelphia, and 94 from Forrest Gump Yep. And then it was Nicolas Cage, and then it was this year. So yeah, so he was hot. He was hot right now. He was on a tear. And he took that and he was like, look, I'm going to write, direct, and act in this movie. No one's going to stop me. I'm doing it all. Yeah. But yeah, his acting was worlds above his directing and writing, but also, like, I don't even know. What do you do about that, though? Like, do you just make Tom Hanks be worse at it? I don't know. Yeah, no, I think the acting was totally fine. Totally like serviceable for this movie. I think Liv Tyler also shines above everyone else. Because she is also a very good actor, and one that's actually outlived this movie. Because a lot of the other leads haven't really. Did not. No. But yeah, so, and Charlize Theron, obviously, but she doesn't have anything to do with this. She's not in the movie. And honestly, if I didn't know that was Charlize Theron and I wasn't looking for her, I would not have recognized her, because she looks kind of like, obviously she's younger, but like she's also got this big hairdo and like just cakes of makeup. And so like she looks totally different, and she's got this accent that's not her normal speaking voice. And but yeah, I think we've also kind of covered like kind of things we would probably change about this movie. Do you think it's okay as it is, or like would you want more conflict? It needed more. Yeah. When I was watching it, even though I was having a great time, I wanted more from it. It was just too easygoing. Because there is a case to be made for very easygoing movies that are very fluffy with no conflict, or like minimal conflict and easy to watch, you know, enjoyable all the way through, which is why this has such a high rating, I think, because it just leaves you feeling very happy. Yeah. Even at the end when the band breaks up, you see that they're all going to go off. That was probably why they had it in the credits. So they all go off and do their own thing, and they're all happy for it. And the song is good. But like, there's so much opportunity in this movie for more conflict. And that's where I think movies will start to like lose points for me, is when I see the opportunity for more in a certain way, and like they just don't go for it, especially because this movie sets it up so many times. Yeah, it has so many opportunities to really take it home. Yeah. Because like, why would they put their first manager in a camper van? Yeah. Why do you have the drummer be part of the family, join the appliance store, if he wasn't going to like be bitter at Guy or something? Or like, why is his dad just like a hard ass dad if that's not going to be a conflict when he leaves? Because Guy just leaves. He's like, hey, I'm going on tour. Bye. Oh, Darlene, you got promoted. Yeah. That's basically it. Why have the story of the bass player joining the military for it to not make a difference? Right? Yes.
So that's
I really like your idea about Lenny and Jimmy having a conflict. That could have been so much better.
You could keep Lenny exactly the same.
He didn't need the run away with a woman to get married line. It didn't make a lot of sense for him, honestly.
Yeah, but like in terms of his character, just like leave him completely optimistic, very happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
And it would probably piss Jimmy off more.
Yeah.
Because if he's just living in this, just loving every moment of it, enjoying every show, really loving the song, the fan interactions, everything. And then Jimmy is like, why aren't you getting angry about this? Why aren't you like annoyed that we're not going to cut another record? Like, don't you feel like we're being controlled right now? And then like, why was Diane Dane, like that female artist, she should have probably been more of an influence on Jimmy, because obviously she does influence him in some ways, because he does have a change after that where he doesn't trust the labels. But like, you don't see their conversations.
No.
You don't see like Faye getting discouraged because they're hanging out more. You don't really see Jimmy starting to question everything that's going on and like if he's being taken advantage of. And so like when he makes that change at the end, you have to just kind of imply that she told him this thing because he said that he was told those things and that's why he's feeling that way now.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't like really build. It just kind of gets to that point and that's it.
Exactly. And also Guy spends the entire movie eyeing up Faye and Jimmy never notices or cares.
Yeah.
But that also could have been a point of like internal band conflict. It's clearly Guy was eyeing her up.
Well, and I think Faye also has a thing for Guy.
Oh, clearly.
And, yeah. And maybe they could have had it at the start where they didn't want to be in a band with them anymore because Faye and Guy had been like together before and then they broke up and now Jimmy and Guy are Jimmy and Guy. That would have been interesting
an even more compelling story.
Jimmy and Faye were now together. And so now they didn't want to have like a band sort of thing because there was maybe some feelings still there.
Yeah.
And then they go to him for this one show, even though there's some hard feelings. But they do really well and it starts to explode and they get caught up in the moment, but then they don't address those feelings.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the point where it bubbles up enough to where it gets to this breaking point and things start to fall apart and like Jimmy and Faye break up, but then Guy's in with Faye. And like, I wish that Guy had been with Faye at the end when like the band was still together just to see, because that would have been more.
That would have been more conflict. Yeah. This movie just kept going 60% of the way there.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to roll into some critics?
Sure.
Alrighty. How do you think this one polled with the audiences?
I know it did quite well critically. Audiences, I think it would probably be very positively liked as well. So I'm going to say like, I think it was like mid 90s for critics. I remember seeing like 92 or something. And then like, I would say 80 for audiences.
You nailed the Rotten Tomatoes. The critics 93.
Hell yeah.
Audiences 78. So quietly well received. IMDb, a little bit lower, 6.9. Nice. And then Metacritic was 71. But everyone kind of got into it. No one really hated this movie, which it's not hard to hate, but I don't know if you can quite love it. 93 seems, I guess with the Rotten Tomato score, it makes sense. It's really hard to dislike this movie.
If everyone was a 6 out of 10, it would still have 100%.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where this one's probably falling between. For box office, made a neat little return.
Yeah.
It grossed 34.5 million worldwide on a budget of 26 million.
Oh, that's
something.
That's something.
That's something. It was number 58 of the box office that year.
Not bad.
So not bad. You know, no one lost anything by going into this.
No.
For a directorial debut, yeah.
And you know what? They probably made a pretty fucking penny off of the song.
Probably. I'm actually kind of curious what that did in revenue compared to like the actual movie itself.
Because they're probably still making royalties off of the song.
Oh,
where the movie obviously being on Disney Plus now, they'll make royalties off of that. But like, I feel like the song probably makes more royalties than the movie does at this point.
I gave it 0.3 of a penny on my way here. So there you go. That's going to add up over time. Ranking time.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some hard calls of how harsh, how love do you want to go? But Kyle, on your enjoyment, what do you think I'm giving it?
I think I'm going to go 3.5.
3.5. I think that's really fair. I'm going to give this a 4.
Hi.
Because it was, despite I think the flaws come in future categories for ranking.
Yeah.
But on just how I was feeling, how I was grooving while I was there, this is definitely a 4 for enjoyment for me.
That's good.
What's your craft single slice?
I think it's a 3 because there was just not a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to go 2.5. I'm thinking where so much of this movie could have been like any movie. It's just so average in how it does a lot of things.
For sure.
And especially with the potential it had to be a really good movie, just kind of makes me miss out on what it was more. But I think 2.5 is fair. I don't think it's quite a 2, but like I could possibly put it there, but I won't. So pay me, Tom Hanks. Execution.
See, that is what's bringing me down on execution is like that the conflict needed to be more. Like there was so much more that was needed or possible. And so for me, like, while it was still a very light and happy and fluffy movie, I think it just needed a little bit more. And so I'm actually going to go 2.5 here too.
2.5. That is very fair. I'm going to go 3.
Yeah.
Same critiques, same. We've kind of mentioned a couple times how we feel. I think it's a 3 for execution. They could have done a lot better, but nothing offensive, really.
No.
Just what could have been. It's your rewatchability.
It's very easy to rewatch, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to go 3 because I'm definitely not rushing out to it, but it's one that I probably would rewatch.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
I'm kind of curious about the extended cut. So I'm going to go with 3.5. The fact that I've watched this movie and am now curious about the extended cut.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3.5. I kind of want to watch this like with my band so we can dream of how we would implode after one song that had any kind of success too.
Yeah.
Because again, the potential, it's there.
It is.
Yeah. All right, Kyle, you have scored this a 12 out of 20 for a 60%.
That's
And I have given this a 13 out of 20 for a 65%.
I actually think that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I bet you there was probably a lot of critics giving it around the same score.
Yeah.
It's 60% of a movie. It's 60% of a great movie.
Yeah, and 40% potential for a great movie.
Yeah. Well, ranking time.
Great.
Do you want to just stop me when you feel you're close?
Sure, I've been looking at it because I had to think about it. There's so many now that I have to think about it.
All right, I'm going to go top to bottom. You just scream at me when you want me to stop.
Well, it won't be at Scream, so.
Oh. All right, on the top to bottom, Fargo, Bound, Scream, Swingers, Jerry Maguire, Independence Day, Mission Impossible, Secrets and Lies, Bottle Rocket, Trainspotting, The Rock, James and the Giant Peach, The Birdcage, Twister.
Stop. I think it's just below Twister.
Below Twister. Above Primal Fear.
Yeah.
Below Twister. That's going to round out your top 15 for right now.
Because I think I just have more fun with Twister.
It's more actiony.
Yeah.
It's
and the craft behind it is just like a lot better.
Oh, there's really good craft behind Twister.
What about you?
I'm going to go higher. I'm telling you right now.
Okay.
A lot of my ranking is based on the vibe at the time and if I want to rewatch it again. So this one's going to go higher.
For sure.
So I'm going to go from top to bottom. Bound, Fargo, Scream, Swingers, Lone Star, Independence Day, Hold the Press is my new number 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just, I enjoyed it more than the ones below it.
Sure.
It will always be the movie that could have been like one of my all-time faves.
Yeah.
It won't be, but I had a really fun time watching it.
Yeah.
So that's where that's going to be sitting.
It would be a cool experiment to do like A Star Is Born in this movie, wherein like you just like remake it again, but with a new competition song. And same thing, one hit wonder type of band, but like really infuse the conflict into it. That'd be cool.
But just with the bones of this, you can make something really good.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to do a little letterbox reviews?
Yeah, hit me with those letterbox reviews.
We'll start you off with Denzel Vaughn, 4.5 stars and a rewatch. One time, my buddy and I passed out on the couch watching That Thing You Do DVD. The menu was one that just repeated itself without shutting off. 6+ hours of the first verse/chorus of the song on repeat, nightmarishly burrowing it into our psyches, and we still watched it again the next day.
Oh my God.
That's a good rewatch.
Nice.
That shows you how just easygoing this is. A little less wordy. We have Holly Beth, 3.5 stars. I love Tam Honks.
Okay. Tam Honks.
Tam Honks. I love that Tam Honks.
If I ever had a goose for some reason, that was a female goose or something, I would name it Tam Honks.
Tam Honks. But really, like, too many people just love Tom Hanks in this.
Yeah.
And I think like 85% of the reviews were just of varying length of saying Tom Hanks, father my children. So I changed it up and went for the negatives, went to the bottom to see what we had going on there. So Ezra Ranch Gal, 2 stars, boring ass, cap ass movie.
Cap ass.
I don't know what that means. I put this in here so maybe the younger audience out there can explain to me what a cap ass movie would entail. This is a cry for help. At me at Wendy_Mills on Twitter if you can tell me what a cap ass movie is.
Nice.
And lastly, Boggles Buckley, 1 star. This movie tasted like Wonder Bread.
How did they spell Wonder Bread?
No, like the brand. They had a
missed
chance.
opportunity.
I know. I think they were half going for it, but Boggles Buckley, like this movie, you need to commit more. Really go for that Wonder Bread.
Yeah.
How do you think this did awards wise?
Was there an original song category yet?
Yes, there was.
Okay. Was that it?
Yes. It was nominated for, did not win, did not have any other Oscar buzz.
Cool.
But for other notable awards, this one won the Artios Award for Best Casting for Feature Film for Comedy.
Cool.
The California On Location Award for Production Company of the Year.
Okay.
And the Florida Film Critics Circle Awards for Best Original Song.
Wow.
This had a lot of Best Original Song nominations, but that was the only one that it actually won for some reason, because it's a great song.
Yeah, that is a good song.
Yeah.
Strange.
Do you want some interesting facts?
I do want some interesting facts.
Some of these we've probably touched on to some degree before, but we're going to rehash anyways. This is the film debut of Tom Everett Scott. Tom Hanks was initially opposed to hiring Scott because of Scott's strong resemblance to younger Hanks. He was finally convinced by his wife, Rita Wilson, who thought Scott was cute.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
And there was a scene with her.
And there was a scene where she was hitting on him pretty hard. Uh-oh.
Very
Tom Hanks. There's some trouble.
She's got a type then.
Yeah, I guess so. But it's Tom Hanks. Her type is her husband. Aw.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks claimed that he wrote the script while on the promotional tour for Forrest Gump due to his boredom during nonstop interviews.
Okay, cool.
So this is actually kind of, it just kind of came because he was bored touring. He wrote a movie about artists touring. Tom Hanks named the beach band Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shank Shooters after 2 seafood restaurants near Beaufort, South Carolina, where many scenes in Forrest Gump were filmed. Captain Geach's was on Ladies Island, but is now closed. The Shrimp Shack is still open for business on St. Helena Island.
Cool.
So half the band's still together. Adam Schlesinger, the bassist for Fountains of Wayne, for those unfamiliar, their big hit was Stacy's Mom. Penned the title song in response to a contest being held by the studio. Their song won being used in the movie, and the movie was released shortly after their first album. So this is before Fountains of Wayne, which is big. They have a number of hits, but this kind of didn't launch their career because, like, watching that, you don't know that this was really tied to Schlesinger or Fountains of Wayne. Yeah,
because also on the album, it says by the Wonders.
Yeah.
I didn't dig into like the written by or whatever. So but you probably have to dig to find that information out. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't know if I put it in here. None of the actors actually played the music. It's all like overdubbed. So they had like a studio band record the song written by Schlesinger, and then the Wonders have the credit for it. But I guess if you enter those contests, you're probably signing away the name recognition and rights to the song anyways.
That's kind of lame.
That is kind of, I think that was, I mean, like, I don't think artists had as much, the copyright maybe wasn't as stringent on their IP.
Yeah. No, sorry. I meant it was lame that like the actors weren't playing.
Yeah, because they seem competent enough.
Yeah.
It's not also a very hard song to do.
No.
But.
Because it's like, bring.
Yeah, it's.
Bring.
Because the thing about Beatles-esque 60s style songs, they're not hard.
No.
The bass, we kind of touched on this one. The bass player doesn't have a name, and in the credits, he is just TB player. So that's not just like added in there. That was intentional because bass players don't deserve names or rights. This is the only film to date, this was written in 2016, to feature Tom Hanks, his wife Rita Wilson, his son Colin Hanks, and daughter Elizabeth Hanks.
Oh.
They have another kid. He's not in it.
Yeah.
Chet Hanks is the lifelong
ultimate Colin Hanks.
No, Chet.
Chet? Oh, what?
They have another kid, Chet.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Colin Hanks, Elizabeth Hanks, and Chet Hanks
Oh, wow.
are their kids.
Cool.
Chet Hanks is the lifelong embodiment of a snub. He never went into acting. He's really weird, and he keeps getting in trouble online. You might remember him as the guy who took on like a Jamaican accent while being a very white man. And when Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson got COVID, he gave like a video announcement with his bad Jamaican accent going, "Oh, they're going to be all right though, man."
Oh, no.
If you don't know anything about Chet Hanks, that's one path that I'd advise staying on. If your mind is curious about the third Hanks kid, just look up videos of him just being an idiot.
Oh,
special place in my heart for Chet Hanks. The worst Hanks.
Is that it? All you got?
That's all I got.
Awesome.
Is there anything else you got for that thing you do?
No, I feel like I've kind of soured you on this movie a little bit just by telling you my complaints.
A little bit. I think you opened my eyes because I was just kind of glossing over a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely subconsciously wanted there to be more in the movie in terms of conflict.
Yeah.
But I didn't spend time thinking of how that could come apart. And now you have told me a better movie that I would like even more than this one.
But honestly, it is a good movie. And I think
is.
people should watch it. It's a very easy movie to watch.
Yeah. Despite what it could be, it still is a bucket of fun.
Yeah.
And I'd recommend watching it. Check out that song. It's really catchy.
And like, even at like in my number 15 spot, I think like that and like the movie below it, even like Primal Fear wasn't that bad. But like, I think everything below it is like kind of ages above it still.
Yeah.
Or below it still, because it is a good movie, but
yeah,
could have been better.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you all for listening to Season 1, Episode 24 of Snubs and Dubs. As always, you can find us everywhere on social media at Snubs and Dubs. That's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Letterboxd, etc. We're also on Good Pod, so make sure to check us out there and join our official Discord. We would love to hear you guys' thoughts on that thing you do or on this episode. So please send us a tweet or a message with a question, recommendation, or anything else. I'm also at Kyle Tobiasson on Twitter, and Jason is at Windy_Mills. Of course, all of those links are going to be in our show notes. Make sure to leave a 5-star review on Apple or on Spotify now, and then share the show. Then check back next week for another episode. Here's a sneak peek of the film we're going to talk about.
Winner of 9 Academy Awards, including Best Supporting Actress, Best Director, and Best Picture of the Year. They found him in the desert, a man with no name.
I think I was a pilot.
And no country.
Anybody remotely foreign is suddenly a spy.
That's right. Next episode is the big one. It's the one we've been waiting for. We're finally talking about the winner of the 69th Academy Award for Best Picture.
Dub, dub, dub.
The English Patient.
Wow.
Make sure to watch it before the next episode. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Thanks for listening. That's a wrap. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.